So looking at some of the upgrades I bought, first up we'll start with the 10-gallon tank. I got a Fluval 107 canister filter. These are great filters. I got the 406 model for the 60-gallon tank. And when I first started in this hobby, I was nothing but a hang-on-the-back filter guy. So, yeah, you had to deal with that stuff. The nickel and dime type filters, having to either clean or replace the cartridges, and they worked good for what they were, but they all had their quirks. Biggest thing I stopped using them is it seemed like everyone made some kind of weird buzzing noise or vibration noise, and over time it would get worse, and you couldn't stop the noise. You would replace the motors and the impellers, and it was more like a temporary thing. So I tried a long time ago a canister filter back in the day, and it was a Fluval. I think it was a 106 at the time. Looked nothing like this one, and I hated it. It was a pain in the ass to prime. It didn't filter very well for what it was, even though it was customizable with all kinds of media and carbon and flosses and foams and yada yada yada, and it just, the trouble of trying to keep it running, and then when you had to clean it, the trouble of priming it, it was a pain in the ass. So I went back to the hang-on filters, and back in the day when I was shopping around, I actually found a filter that my father used to run, an old Aqua King. It had a filter box, an external motor pump, siphon tubes, and it was exactly what my father used to run. And I ran that for many, many years. And I actually had two of them. One was the main runner, and the other one was for backup. And then eventually, you know, things wore out, and pumps failed, or the boxes cracked, and you started using the backups, and eventually it came to the point where, you know, there was no parts available for it no more because it was no longer made. Couldn't do anything about it. So I went back to the noisy hang-on back filters until basically in 2012, when I says it's time for a new aquarium. And I started out with a 10-gallon, a 20-gallon, a 30-gallon, a 40-gallon, and then I went right to 60 gallons because the 40-gallon was starting to show its age. All them years of vacuuming the gravel, scratching the glass, all the hell, it started looking bad. So when I got the new tank, I got all new equipment. So I went back with a canister filter, the Fluval 406, and I love it. I mean, I wouldn't have anything else at this point. So for this little 10-gallon, I got a 107. And they came along way over the years. First of all, it's right there. That's a primer pump. And then this lever here, that's to shut the water off. So you can always keep your hoses primed, and you ain't got to prime it as much as the old filters, where you had to pick it up and tip it and wait for it to fill and yada yada yada. And this whole valve manifold detaches. You just flip this gray lever off to shut the water off, then you flip this red one up, and it pops the whole valve assembly off. Then you can service the filter and clean it, and yada yada yada. And these latches are really nice. They got a dual purpose. They help you pop the top and to lock it securely. So great filter. I love them. So along with other upgrades, I got, like I mentioned in the other video, I got a brand new glass top. These are actually made to fit my marine land, because the different manufacturers, they got different openings, so couldn't find the one at the time I needed. So I got a brand new set here. Lasts many, many years, and like I mentioned earlier, upgrade for lighting. So I got brand new rigid LED lights. These are aluminum and got a glass cover on it, plastic cover, and they're nice. They'll last a couple of years. The other ones have been running since 2012, so they've been running for 9 years. So these work pretty good. They're not waterproof, but I plan on using some spacers and keeping them above the glass so they don't get all nasty and get water intrusion and then fail. So this particular light bar here, this is my wake up and go to bed light. This light comes on like an hour before the main light comes on. I got it on a dimmer. It's also on a timer, so I don't have to turn them on and off. And this one wakes them up, puts them to bed. And then for the main light, I got another rigid LED strip bar. Needed a new one anyway, because the other ones, some of the LEDs were starting to fail because they got water in them. And I made a trip to my local fish store, which is about a half hour, 40 minutes away, and looked in their aquariums, and I noticed they got interesting lighting. So they run a blue and a white lighting strips, all LEDs in their store. So I copied the idea. I didn't buy a traditional aquarium lamp. I modified my own. So I bought brand new lights from Super Bright LEDs. These are high CRI, a neutral white, very bright. They can be put on a dimmer. And for the blue, I got blue side-firing stick-on LED strips, and I put them on both sides. So I tested it out, and it's stunning. The color is stunning for the fish and the decor and the overall appearance of the aquarium. It looks like a totally different aquarium. Almost looks like a saltwater rig. That's how interesting the color is. It's amazing. So that'll be put on. These strips run off at 24 volts, so a little upgrade for the power supplies for them, but not a big deal. In other news, talking about the filter media, I'm going to try this product from Seachem. It's their matrix for high capacity biofiltration. My 406 Fluval does have bio rings in it, but this is bio rings on steroids. It's like a pumice rock, and it's has all the surface area and stuff like that to give places for bacteria to live. And that's what keeps your aquarium alive, is the bacteria. To take the ammonia and rotting fish food and other detritus and convert it from ammonia to nitrite. So it's RITE, and then that same bacteria that's cousins to them turn that into nitrate, which is a lot less harmful for fish. And it comes to the point where you're better off having nitrate problems than ammonia and nitrate problems, because they pretty much go hand in hand. So I don't have that problem. I got plenty of bacteria between, the filter and all the walls and all the substrate and the gravel and the pipes and the decor and yada yada yada. So my aquarium can definitely support all them fish that are in it. All them fish that I recently added in the last 4 to 6 weeks. No spikes of ammonia or anything like that, because it's been sitting and waiting. And I go through spurts where I, buy new fish and then go through periods where you ignore them and stuff like that, and just part of the hobby. And then another new product I want to try is this Purigen. This is a premium synthetic filter resin. It helps remove organic waste. It's to pretty much take all the organics out of the water before they turn into ammonia, nitrate, and nitrate. So for me, this is new. Don't know if it's gonna help my nitrate problems, but it's worth a shot. If anything helps, that you can extend your water changes, it's a good thing. So this stuff is it's a very fine resin type stuff there, and this stuff is reusable. So this stuff goes from this ivory color to dark brown or black, and that gives you the indicating that it needs to be recharged. So don't have to throw this stuff away. You can recharge it with a mixture of 1-to-1 of bleach and water. So like a cup of bleach and a cup of water, and you let it set there for 24 hours, and then you dechlorinate the water and change it and yada yada yada, and recharge it with some Regulator here and some dechlorinator, and then it's ready to go again. And then this stuff goes into a filter bag. So this is a 180 micron mesh bag. Keep that stuff in there. So I'm gonna separate this into 4 equal parts, because the big filter has trays in it, and they're split into 2. So 2 bags for each tray, and then I'll have 4. So 1 will be in use and 1 will be recharging and ultimately ready for use. So that's an experiment. So between these 2 products, if they don't, keep the nitrate in check, that's why I'm going to try to experiment with some live plants. And that'll take all that organic waste, the very last part of the nitrogen cycle, and the plants will use it. Another thing I might try is I happen to have a pothos plant here. It does live in here in the lab, and it's currently outside regenerating. I can take cuttings off of that and stick them directly in the water. Just the stems and the roots will grow in the water. So it'll be kind of interesting to see a big root ball and having a house plant growing on top of the aquarium. and that'll take some of the that'll take a lot of the nitrates out of the water. So in other happenings, other than the changing the decor, I got the new plants. So for me, having a tall tank, I got the tallest plants you can find. So these are about 18 to 20 inches. Something different to look at for a little while. Going back to the filter stuff there, I stumbled on a place called the Aquarium Co-op, and they love their sponge filters. Now I run them in my big aquarium, but they're a fine mesh, not the greatest thing to have. So they got they sell their air-powered sponge filters with coarse sponges, something similar to this. This is a coarse sponge filter, and this is meant for the intakes of the of your filters, so it increases the capacity of them, so you can have more surface area for more bacteria. So that's pretty cool. So I got a small one for the 10-gallon tank, along with their awesome air stones. These are an adjustable air stone, so you can have a very fine bubble. So you don't have to listen to blub 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 blub. Because it's kind of annoying to listen to the blub 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 all the time. And this will eliminate that. So that's pretty cool. Just like this filter, and this filter, and that one. These are all dead filters. There's no there's none of that beneficial bacterium on it yet, so it'll take some time to seed these things. So you start off slow, just throw them in there. It takes about 1 to 2 months for these things to become established, so they actually do what they are supposed to do, other than filtering the big detritus out. It's nice to have these things around in an aquarium, just in case you want to start another one, like I did with that little 10-gallon tank. I had a sponge filter running in the big tank for years, and I used to run that one for raising brine shrimp in a really tiny aquarium. So instead of wasting that filter, I just threw it in the big tank and just left it in there. So when you buy these things, it does not come with the air stone. You have to buy that separate. So this one's a lot bigger around. Some pretty cool stuff in there. Again, it's a dead filter, so it'll take some time for it to do what it's supposed to do. And some new Airline. Since the big tank is a nice one, it's actually got black silicone, which is one of the big reasons I bought that. Because the black silicone does not get dyed blue in case you have to run, an ick killer. So if you have fish that have ick, you put the medication in it, and unfortunately it dyes the water blue, and it dyes anything will absorb color, especially aquarium silicone, and it'll be permanently blue for the life of the tank, really. Because I still have my 40-gallon tank in the cellar, and the silicone is still blue from all the years that I used to treat just one tank with for ick. And yeah, so another product I've been using for years, since 2012 really, is this reusable water polishing aquarium filter pad. This is the finest aquarium pad for polishing your water. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not really a big fan of having to buy chemicals and special media to keep the water clear, and chemicals that you dump in the water to clear the water. That's all really all temporary type stuff. This water polishing pad, this is the best stuff you can use. And this is washable, and you cut it to your own uses. So if you got unique trays and stuff like that, you cut it to fit, and they work good. Over time, these things start getting clogged up, and they stop flowing water, after you power rinse them and stuff like that. So I do the same thing that I'm going to do with the Purigen here, is you soak it in a 1-to-1 combination of bleach, and it kills all the organic matter, and then you just power rinse it with your sink hand shower there, and they work real well. So that's just some of this new stuff that I got for the aquarium. I made an order to Aquarium Co-op and for some live plants, so I'll wait for that stuff to come and start putting all this stuff together. In the next video, I'll show what comes into these canister filters, and how to optimize them to make them better, because just like any manufacturer, they gotta have this stuff to nickel and dime you to keep them in business. So we want to avoid that, because they know their products last a long time. So if they don't make any money replacing filters, they got to make it on the cartridges and stuff like that. So till next time, bye.